is the Mi 11X Pro, and it is one of the best and affordable Snapdragon 888 phones in the market right now. For context, the OnePlus 9 gives you more or less the same specifications but costs 8,000 rupees more. So anyway, the Mi 11X Pro is almost the same as the Mi 11X, that is in terms of design and features, but it does two things better than the younger sibling, and those two things make a ton of difference. First, as I said, it has the Snapdragon 888 SoC versus the Snapdragon 870 SoC inside the Mi 11X, and it also comes with a 108 megapixel main camera versus a 48 megapixel main camera on the Mi 11X. So for the upgraded main camera and the Snapdragon 888 under the hood, does it make sense to buy the Mi 11X Pro, or should you rather save your cash and stick with the Mi 11X instead? Let's find out. I see a lot of you who watch our videos are not subscribed to the channel. So guys, if you love our content, consider hitting that red subscribe button, press the bell icon and turn on all notifications so that you don't miss any of our latest videos. Without wasting time, let's get straight to the point and compare the cameras on both the Mi 11X Pro and the Mi 11X. The Mi 11X Pro features a 108 megapixel main camera. This is the Samsung made HM2 sensor. The phone also features an 8 megapixel ultra wide camera and a 5 megapixel telemacro camera. On to the Mi 11X, the main camera here is a 48 megapixel Sony IMX582 sensor, but besides this, the other two cameras remain the same as the Mi 11X Pro. Also, both these smartphones have the same 20 megapixel front facing camera for selfies. So this is the daylight photo taken from the main cameras of both smartphones, 108 megapixel versus 48 megapixel. So these are pixel binned shots, very detailed, both of them. Both have done a good job with exposing the darker areas as well, but the colors for sure look much richer in the Mi 11X Pro's photo. I mean, just look at the blue in the sky. Another reason for the rich colors is that the Mi 11X Pro also did a very good job in dealing with the highlights. I mean, the brighter areas are exposed so nicely, for instance, this part of the tree. Okay, another example of a daylight shot from the primary camera, and this one was taken directly against the sun. Not only did the Mi 11X Pro did a good job in controlling the rays around the sun, but just look at the color disparity. Colors look totally off in the Mi 11X's output, as you can see the building. Now this is something that shocked me, but overall, as for the Mi 11X Pro, it did a far better job. Even in this photo taken indoors, both outputs look good, and the Mi 11X's output actually looks brighter. But it is the Mi 11X Pro that's able to expose the white wall correctly. So this white wall isn't as bright as the Mi 11X is showing. So yeah. And even for the orange, while slightly, I would say it looks richer in the Mi 11X Pro's output. Now this is a full resolution photo from both the smartphones. Again, the white balance is better in the 11X Pro's output. The Mi 11X's photo looks warmer in comparison. And upon zooming into this part, you'll see that the 11X Pro was also able to differentiate between the green and yellow colors of the leaves. So while 11X has done a fine job, the 11X Pro is definitely better again. And finally, in this extreme low light shot, like trust me, there wasn't much of a light source around, and still the cameras were able to produce something. And while I don't really like the output on both, the Mi 11X Pro's photo looks better in terms of white balance, exposure and details. But then again, do we even click photos in such a dark environment? I don't. Do you? Let me know in the comments. As for the ultra-wide camera, they are of course the same lenses, but this is where the image signal processing comes into play and shows how the Snapdragon 888 processor is superior to the Snapdragon 870. And also, I don't understand why the Mi 11X is struggling so much against the light, resulting in washed out colors in the final result. Anyway, macro shots seem to look about the same from both the smartphones. But selfies, be it indoors or outdoors, once again I feel that while the Mi 11X does a very good job with dynamic range and my skin tone, the overall output looks much better from the Mi 11X Pro, especially my skin tone. It looks more natural without a doubt. In terms of video recording, both smartphones, despite not having optical image stabilization, do a pretty decent job in reducing the jerks and shakes. The colors do look slightly better and richer. I have used this word a lot by now, but yeah. And really, the 11X Pro along with its gyro EIS is doing a far better job. Again, the Snapdragon 888 is coming into play here, of course. And for the 1080p 60fps video, guys, even the iQOO 7 dominated the Mi 11X because it had optical image stabilization. But the output from the Mi 11X Pro for sure is better than the output of the Mi 11X as well as the iQOO 7. If you want to see how the iQOO 7 fared in these camera tests against the Mi 11X, then you can check out my comparison video between the iQOO 7 and the Mi 11X right here. As for now, here's a selfie sample taken from both the Mi 11X and the Mi 11X Pro. Hello everyone, right now I'm shooting the 1080p 30fps video samples on the Xiaomi Mi 11X Pro and the Xiaomi Mi 11X. So as you can see, the Mi 11X Pro definitely has a wider field of view, and I'll also like to tell you that the Xiaomi Mi 11X Pro has HDR setting for the video camera, for the front-facing video camera that Mi 11X doesn't have. But the trade-off is that you can't enable HDR in 1080p 60fps videos. Yes, the Mi 11X Pro can also shoot 1080p 60fps videos. The Mi 11X cannot. So yeah, that's why 1080p 30fps videos from both the phones right now, HDR setting enabled on the 11X Pro, no HDR setting on the Mi 11X, and this is how the output looks like. Tell me which phone's overall output do you think so is the better one right now, which phone's audio sounds better, and of course which phone's stabilization is better. Share all your thoughts with me in the comments below. Cheers. So those were the cameras on the Mi 11X Pro and the Mi 11X. Also guys, let me know if you're interested in watching a stock cam versus G cam comparison video of the Mi 11X Pro. And now that we have talked about the camera, let's focus on the Snapdragon 888 chipset. In Geekbench, the Mi 11X Pro scored 1120 in single-core performance, while in multi-core performance, the score was a class-leading 3667. As for AnTuTu, my Mi 11X Pro consistently used to score above the 770,000 mark, which again I think is impressive. And just to put it in numbers, this score makes the Mi 11X Pro about 10% faster than the iQOO 7 and about 15% faster than the Mi 11X. And by the way, these benchmark numbers are reflected in the real world as well. The Snapdragon 888 processor basically crunches through anything that you throw at it. And before I elaborate, let me tell you that this phone is offered in two variants: 8GB RAM plus 128GB storage, which is priced at 39,999 rupees, and the top end 8GB RAM plus 256GB storage, which is priced at 41,999 rupees. I would suggest going for the top end variant here since the difference in price is not that much, plus you don't get expandable storage on this phone. So yeah, there's that. So the system performance has been great. MIUI 12 on the Snapdragon 888 processor flies, and I don't even need to tell you about the gaming performance. I mean, I was able to run Call of Duty Mobile at very high graphics settings and max frame rates, and the game ran exceptionally well. Same for Asphalt 9 Legends. I played this game at the highest quality graphics and 60 FPS, and I did not have any sort of issues regarding frame drops or stutters. Although over longer sessions of gameplay, say if you have been playing a game for about 30 to 45 minutes, the phone does seem to get warm to the touch around the middle at the rear. Now this doesn't make it uncomfortable to hold, but yeah, this is something that I noticed, so I'm letting you guys know. Shifting gears, you also get the same amazing display from the Mi 11X on the Mi 11X Pro as well. I have to say this is a gorgeous panel, and especially if you love watching content on your phone. In terms of specs, this is a 6.67-inch Super AMOLED display, comes with a 120Hz refresh rate, 360Hz touch sampling rate, and it can get plenty bright to up to 1300 nits. As for those who want to know about the green tint issue, well, I did not come across any, and you can see that on your screens right now. Apart from this, watching videos or movies is a blast thanks to MEMC, which adds those additional frames in between native frames so that whenever you're watching something, that content appears smoother thanks to this frame interpolation technique. And while everything looks gorgeous on the display, the stereo speakers on this thing produce loud and rich audio output. Here's how they sound. Go. In terms of build quality, I actually like the ergonomics and the in-hand feel of both the Mi 11X Pro and the Mi 11X. So Gorilla Glass 5 protection on the front and back, which is great. And this shade right here is the Celestial Silver, and no doubt that this phone looks beautiful. And not just that, the satin matte texture on the back makes sure that it feels great in the palm as well. Although it is a slippery phone, I won't deny, but as I said, it is so beautiful that I wouldn't want to put a case on this thing. As for the side rail, it is not metal, unfortunately, it is made out of plastic. That said, it doesn't make the phone feel cheap or anything like that. Instead, the build quality on this phone is good, and I feel the weight, that is 196 grams, is also about perfect for a phone of this size. Moving on, for authentication, Xiaomi has gone with a side-mounted physical fingerprint sensor, which is great, and I will say that any day I would prefer a physical fingerprint sensor over an in-display fingerprint sensor. And yes, of course, it is fast and accurate in unlocking the smartphone. For those who are interested in the connectivity bit, this phone supports two bands of 5G, that is N77 and N78. In terms of carrier aggregation support, that is also present here on the smartphone. The Mi 11X Pro also features Wi-Fi 6, but to use Wi-Fi 6, you'll need to have a Wi-Fi 6 router. In terms of software, there's MIUI 12 atop Android 11, and by now there's nothing much to tell you about MIUI that I haven't addressed in my past videos. In short, ads are not here, which is great, and while setting up the phone, I did have the option to skip downloading the suggested apps. There are still a few bloatware apps that I wish weren't here, but good thing is that I did not get spammed by stupid notifications. Otherwise, one thing I will add is that MIUI is a heavy software, we all know that. And even on the Mi 11X with the Snapdragon 870 processor, I have seen it stutter on a few occasions. But on the Mi 11X Pro with the Snapdragon 888 SoC, I feel MIUI has finally found its match. Top-notch performance, fast and fluid animations and transitions. My point is that if you want the best MIUI experience on a Xiaomi smartphone without spending 70,000 for the Mi 11 Ultra, this is the smartphone to go for. Now in the battery department, I think the Mi 11X Pro should have at least had a 5000 mAh unit inside, because while the performance on this thing is great, it comes at a cost, guys, that is battery life. I'm not saying the 4520 mAh cell inside is anything bad, but the Snapdragon 888 processor is a power-hungry chipset despite it being a 5nm SoC. So if you are someone who loves watching movies on their smartphone, who loves playing games for longer sessions, who loves to take a lot of photos and videos, I think you will end up draining the phone's battery before end of day. I mean, I did, so yeah. That said, the 33-watt bundled charger does top up the phone pretty quickly. In my case, it took about 30 minutes for the phone to reach 58%, and a full 100% took exactly 62 minutes. Now, not the fastest seeing those crazy 66-watt solutions, but it gets the job done. So should you buy the Mi 11X Pro or should you go for the Mi 11X? In my opinion, if I have the budget, then I think the extra money is definitely worth it for the Mi 11X Pro, because while the cameras on the Mi 11X are pretty good for about 30,000 rupees, the cameras that you get with the Mi 11X Pro along with the superior ISP, I think so 40,000 rupees and the whole package are definitely worth it. And while about 30,000 rupees, the Mi 11X is a great all-rounder. For the extra cash, the Snapdragon 888 brings along better ISP, mentioning that again, better performance, and if you're a power user, you'll definitely feel the gains. Because as I said earlier, the OnePlus 9 offers the similar kind of specs and performance, but it costs 50,000 rupees. And so Xiaomi has definitely undercut its competitor here and yeah, did a much better job as well. And as for MIUI 12, well, MIUI is MIUI, and to be honest, I think it just needed the right hardware maybe. And because now that I've seen how fine its performance was coupled with the Snapdragon 888 processor, I think it is a decent skin, guys, and without a doubt, one of the most feature-rich out there. And that was my review of the Xiaomi Mi 11X Pro. So guys, what do you think about this smartphone? Let me know everything in the comments below. As always, for all the latest in tech, stay tuned to Mr. Phone. See you guys in the very next one, and thanks for watching.